the erasure protocol. A society that forgets is easier to rule than one that forgives. Welcome to episode 9 of The Voice Behind the Mask. Tonight we speak not of silence, but of forgetting. The quietest kind of control. Not by bullet, not by cell, but by erasure. You've been told, let the past die. Move on. Stop dwelling. As if remembrance were weakness. As if memory were a threat. And it is. Because memory is rebellion. Memory is inconvenient. It refuses to comply. It resurrects what power prefers buried. That's why they fear it. And so they begin to delete. Not with bonfires anymore, but with bureaucracy. Not with tanks, but with textbooks. Not by storming the gates, but by rewriting the plaques. They rename the wars. They scrub the curriculum. They unteach the children. Suddenly, slavery becomes migration. Genocide becomes settlement. Internment becomes protection. And history, the bloody, complex, unfinished truth of it, is replaced by fables. Sterile, smiley, patriotic myths. You see, a people who forget their past cannot see their present clearly. They stumble into tyranny thinking it's Tuesday. They vote for oppression because they no longer recognize its face. And when the future comes, they won't remember. They've seen it before. This is the erasure protocol. Not censorship by suppression, but by subtraction, by removing just enough that truth cannot be reconstructed, by fading the ink until only the flag remains. This is how empires rewrite themselves as saviors, how monsters are rebranded as heroes, how victims are blamed and villains wear statues. They don't hide the past, they revise it, reframe it, repackage it, until injustice is just another aesthetic, until oppression is a plot twist in a movie, until the cries of history are drowned by fireworks and theme songs. And what of those who remember? They are labeled radical, troublemakers, stuck in the past, divisive. But they are the most dangerous of all because they carry the receipts, they know the names, the dates, the scars. They remind the world that pain was not always polite and that progress was never free. So the protocol kicks in, erase them too. Silence the teachers. Discredit the survivors. Ban the books. Mock the truth-tellers. And when that's done, print the myth on a t-shirt and sell it back to the people who forgot they ever bled. But you, dear listener, you still remember. And because you remember, you resist. Because memory is not a weight, it is a weapon. It cuts through the fog. It reopens the wound, not to cause pain, but to clean the rot beneath. You do not honor the past by forgetting it. You honor it by dragging it, bleeding and screaming, into the present. So that those who inherit this world know exactly who tried to burn it down. They will call it nostalgia, call you bitter, call you obsessed. But you are none of those things. You are awake. You are an archive in motion, a witness, a whistle, a fire that will not be blown out. So I ask you, what have you forgotten, and who taught you to forget? What history did they erase from your classroom, your search results, your dinner table? What books did they say were too much? What truths were redacted for your protection? And what lies have you memorized because the truth was too quiet? You must remember, not for revenge but for redemption. Not to hate, but to heal. Not to dwell, but to defy. Because a society that forgets is easier to rule than one that forgives, and if they get to decide what is remembered, then they get to decide who you are. So remember, everything, even the things that make you ache, especially the things they told you to forget. Because memory is a revolution with a pulse, and you, dear listener, are still alive.